Mr. Ken Rowland.
You know, you got a lot of new people. They might even they're excited. I know you are, but still, yet you're in your back of your mind. You're saying, what do I do? How do I start? Right? Anybody there? How do I start? Anyway, we're going to give you a little bit of a presentation on prospecting and what to expect. You see, and maybe what not to expect. See, I can tell you what not to do a lot easier than I can tell you what to do. Because I've made a lot of mistakes. Start building a foundation in network marketing. You have to start this foundation. And listen, it's going to be hard. See, I tell people, it's not going to be easy. Anything that's worthwhile is going to be hard. Andre, was it hard in the beginning? The first few days? First few weeks? Yes. You see, you know that. You know that you're going to be in for some work. You got to go through the numbers. You got to build that foundation like a big, long, tall building. Before that tall building goes up, they spend all their time building that deep foundation so that building can withstand that pressure of that weight. So, look, if you just want to build a real small organization, it doesn't take too much of a foundation. But see, so no, in the beginning, listen, in the beginning you're going to do a lot of things that you don't get paid for. Remember this. You're going to do 10 times more than you get paid for. Down the road, once you build this foundation and it begins to grow, you can get paid for 10 times more than you've done. See, Andre talked about that. You keep getting paid. You keep getting paid. You keep getting paid. So remember, when you go home and you start making your list and you start doing this business, it's going to be hard. Start that. Don't say it's going to be easy. See, that's one of the things in network marketing. People say, oh, it's easy. Just sponsor. Just get in and get a few people. You got to get real. See? So build that foundation. Okay? 4 stages of growth. And we all start here. We all start. There's 4 stages of growth. In the beginning, we're like a little infant baby. Incompetent. We don't know we don't know. So in anything in life, when we start out, we're like a baby. We don't know we don't know. Pretty soon, though, the next stage is your conscience competent. You begin to recognize. You begin to say, hey, I know. Hey, I don't know. I realize I know that I don't know. Nothing wrong with this. Understand that this is the growth pattern. You can't change it. There's no such thing as a natural. None of us were natural. I was a bumblebee that shouldn't have flown. You know what I'm saying? But we go through these stages of growth. Pretty soon, the next stage, man, you're conscience competent. What's happening over there? You're beginning to understand. You're beginning to do things. You're beginning to tell the presentation like Andre. You got it in line. You be able to communicate. You see. The next stage, a conscience competent. Boy, he knows everything. Hand me that. See? So it's just that way. There's going to be these 4 stages of growth. Number 1, you don't know you don't know. You don't even know enough maybe to ask some questions. There's nothing wrong with that. We all started there. And then you know that you don't know. Okay? That's when you begin to learn. And then you know that you know. And then the next stage is your own automatic. It's an unconscious. I mean, you're doing it unconsciously. You can do it. But be careful there, because if you don't watch, you'll be shooting over people's head. So you always have to talk to people and remember, they don't know they don't know. So if you're way up here and you're on automatic and you're rambling through all this, they don't know what you're talking about. So you have to be able to talk to people on their level. And remember, in the beginning, they don't know they don't know. So effort brings forth results. Henry Ford said, when everything seems to be going against you, remember, the airplane takes off against the wind. So remember, it's not going to be a piece of cake. To build a nice, big organization, it's not going to be easy. But listen, it'll be the greatest financial thing you've ever done. Now, what do? You contact people. You start, I use this illustration. You start making your list. Now, do you start making a list of people you don't know? If you do, you're going to have a hard time. You make people that you start making a list of people that you love and they love you, and your acquaintances that you've known for years. That's your warm market. Now, here's the thing. When you start making this list and you start contacting them, don't go at them to try to sell them something. Don't go at them to try to convince them of anything. Don't go at them and so that they feel pressured. I never get a no. You know why? I never asked for a yes. The only thing I ask for is permission to educate and keep them updated. And your friends will never... And another real important thing, if you believe this, you're here, you've seen everything, and you're new. If you really believe it, tell your friends, I have a new career and I'm excited. A new career, lifelong career. And with your permission, I'll educate you of what it is, and I'll keep you updated of what's happened to me. I'm going to go through learning curves, but I'm excited. Your friends will get behind you. Okay, the oysters. Anybody ever seen a pearl diver? He goes down with this great big basket. He gathers all these shells in there. He brings them back up. Huge amount, hundreds of oyster shells. Now, he knows that he's going to have to open a lot of shells before he finds... They're not in very many. The pearl's not there. He knows he's got to open a lot. Now listen, can you imagine? Now listen, and when you think this, it's the same thing with talking to your people. You're not really looking for a pearl. You're looking for people that's teachable. Okay? So the pearl we're looking for is somebody that's teachable, that wants to start. Okay? But now let's use this illustration. Here's a pearl diver. He opens this shell. He opens it up, and there's not a pearl there. What does he do? If you've ever watched them, they throw it as fast as they can, and they grab another one, right? The pearl diver, the one that makes the most money, and the one that is the most successful, is the one who opens the most shells. Now listen, just think of this. Opening up a shell, and there's not one there. There's not a pearl there. And you say, man, there got to be a pearl. It's a beautiful shell. Look, there's got to be one there somewhere. Same thing with people. Oh, he's so good a speaker. He knows so much, and it's got to be there. Don't do that. Now, in our case, you go through more people. You don't necessarily throw it away, but you keep them updated. But see, if you know 100% more than me, I learned this years ago in direct sales. If you know 100% more than me, but I do 100% more than you, I'll beat you. See, so go through the numbers, but learn as you're going through the numbers to do it right, to qualify people. Don't be holding on to a bunch of shells. There's no pearls there. And the way you do that is go through more people. Well, listen. There's two seeds here. Again, you can't tell by looking. Did somebody look at Andre and say, you know, there's a superstar? Did they look at Robert Dean and say, there's a superstar? No, he was greasy. But somebody saw something in him. Let me show you something. The sequoia seed. Have you ever seen a sequoia tree? How many people's ever seen one? They get so big you can drive a car through them. It's on the left. See that seed in the palm of the hand? Look at the peach seed on the right. It's a big seed, right? How big does that tree get? But now if you didn't know, if somebody didn't know either seed, which one would they pick? See? Same thing with people. So what do you look for? You look for attitude. You look for people with desire, those characteristics. He's got it. Andre had it down pat. You look for those people that are teachable, humble. See? And you can't tell, you can't prejudge that, hey, that's going to be a good one. You can't tell. Because every time, if you ever do that, and you look back, it's always the person's, I didn't think he would do it. You can't tell by looking. So don't prejudge. Tiny seeds grow to big sometime when they're nurtured. You got to see in other people. You got to see in other people maybe what they don't see in themselves. See, that's maybe the art of prospecting. Is being able to detect something in some people or people. There's something there. And you have to help them cross that bridge because maybe they don't have confidence, but they have traits, they have something. And you start building on this great quality or something. You have to recognize that. So you can teach the how. I mean, Andre could show you exactly what to do. And I can give you an outline exactly what to do. And I can teach you how to do it. But I can't teach you the why. Now you say, what is a why? Let me tell you, one time there was a little bullfrog. Just to make this illustration. Little bullfrog, he was in this big old deep rut in a road. And he kept trying to jump out. He kept trying, he just couldn't. He just about gave up. See, there's one thing that we have to do. To get motivated, the first thing we have to do is discover in yourself the why. Now let me ask you this. Did that bullfrog, did he find out a why? See, the bullfrog couldn't jump out, could he? What motivated him? Where did that energy come from? A why. If I don't jump, I'm going to get killed. See, you can't. Now listen, there's a lot of whys. Everyone has a different why. Everybody. Everyone. More time, freedom. That's probably the number one thing are people looking for. Get out of debt. Man, my cards are maxed out. I need to do something about this. See, everybody has a different why. And these are all good. They're whys. And, I want to make a lot of money. That's not a why. Nothing wrong with that. But that's not a real why. You just take somebody that wants to make a lot of money real quick, he won't last long. He doesn't have a why. More time with family. I've talked to people that they're gone all the time. So this business will give us more time. So we start working with these people that have these whys. So there's a lot of whys. But you have to help, talk to people, work with people, learn to prospect, open up their mind of thought. See, they don't know anything about this business. The schools don't teach geometric growth. They don't teach network marketing. If they did, there probably wouldn't be many teachers. So it's not taught. To live in a different place. Now listen, you say, well, listen, there's people that have to live in very humble, maybe they're devastated. Maybe they've been in New Orleans. They lost their homes. Maybe they have to find another place. See, there's a lot, man, you talk about a why. They're out there all over the place. We could help them. We can help them people discover something. These are whys. These are real. Well, what is motivation? See, I always say that money doesn't motivate me as much as poverty. And I say that with respect. I've been devastated. I've been down to where I didn't know how we was going to buy groceries, but I never was in dire poverty. You know what I'm saying. Not like some of the third countries. No, that's poverty, right? But see, being motivated because you can't take care of your family. You can't do the things. You can't take care of their health or whatever. You see, that's what motivates me. And I think most people. When people are highly motivated, listen, it's easy to accomplish the impossible. And when they're not, it's impossible to accomplish the easy. Remember that. When you're motivated, when you're inspired, it's unbelievable what you can do. It's unbelievable what you can do. In the beginning, make your list. Start making it. We got some people here, never been in networking before. They're making their list. That's the first thing you do. You want to start sharing with people. Get permission to educate. Keep them updated. Start cultivating. A farmer, he has to have the land. Then he starts cultivating it. Before he can plant, he has to cultivate it. You don't just go out on some dry ground and start throwing seeds. It won't work. So you have to start cultivating. See, planting and then planting the seeds. Remember, all seeds are not going to grow. So you got to plant a lot. Sun's going to get a bunch. Too much water is going to get some. All kinds of problems. So not all seeds are going to grow. So don't even think they will. So, but you have to start planting these seeds. Seeds of thought about this business, about this great company. And then they will slowly some grow. Now, I always use this illustration. And some people in network marketing and other companies, they would think this was crazy to tell people this. This ain't what people want to hear. They don't want to hear that it's going to be hard. It is. It's going to be like pushing an elephant uphill to be very successful. But guess what? You got your upline to help you push that elephant. Listen, it's going to be hard. But down the road, you can start riding that elephant downhill. In the corporate world, in the world today, you have to push the elephant, right? Do you ever get to ride him downhill? By the time you think you might, something happens. They cut your pension or whatever, right? So, in this business, it's going to be hard in the beginning. See, when you know that, it's just part of it. No problem. So don't fool people into thinking it's going to be real easy. Losers versus winners. Listen to this real close. You might say positive against negatives. A loser says, it may be possible, but it's very difficult. A winner says, it may be difficult, but it's possible. See a difference? Completely different thought. Yes, it's going to be difficult, but it's possible. Qualities to look for in people. Teachable. A positive attitude. The number one trait in network marketing. Mark this down. A willingness to serve others. See, this business of network marketing, it's not about having all these people that's going to serve us. It's about serving these people. See, it's completely different than what's taught in the corporate world. And in the corporate structure, if you're in management, the people underneath you serve you, right? The one up here manages you, but you serve them. See, nobody manages you. We serve you. Big difference. Big difference. And it's something that's the hardest thing. You can't hardly teach it. Either a person will, and they do, or they won't. And it's somebody that's been real highly successful and very educatable, due all respect. They haven't been taught that. But see, I can't be successful until I help you be successful. I can't make a nickel till I help you make a quarter. And the more people I help make a quarter, the more nickels I make. But you got to be willing to serve. You got to be willing to serve people and be able to see in people what they don't see in themselves. And you see, that's why I tell people, I can't tell you who to work with, but I can tell you who not to work with. You can't work with negative people. You can't work with people that don't have a desire. You can't work with people that won't serve other people. In this world, there's two kinds of people. There's takers and there's givers. And it's hard to change. You can. See? So it won't be easy. It's like a farmer. It takes a lot of time for a farmer. And I've been raised around farmers. And I respect them to the highest. They lose their crops, they start over. They don't think about quitting. They plant. I've had my uncles lose their crops of peanuts year after year, and they wouldn't even think about stopping. That was their business. So we have to be a little bit like that farmer. Like I said a while ago, we got to have the land. You got to start cultivating it, just like a farmer. Plant the seed. Not all seeds will grow. So remember that. So you're going to be like a farmer. Farmer also knows what land to start with. He don't just go out here and say, well, hey, let's try this. He pretty well knows. Down in Oklahoma, they had certain land for peanuts. You know, it was certain land. It had to be a certain kind of land. Working with attitude. I always say I can't tell you who to work with, but I can tell you who not to work with. It's these attitudes. Developing people. That's our business. See, our business is not about selling product. If it wasn't for the product, we wouldn't be here today, right? Our great product, it's sort of like a rudder on a ship. You don't leave the port without the rudder. But the ship is our people of opportunity. So you have to develop people. You don't, hey, I want to go out and sponsor Robert Dean. I'm looking for Andre Parks. They don't exist. They were cultivated. They saw something in Andre. I saw something in my son years ago, but it took time for him to develop. Now he's better than I am. See? Maybe it'll be easier to get along with. Didn't he do good the other day? See, you don't know where he came from. There was at a time that he was not interested in this kind of business. There's something much more important and scarce than ability. Way more than ability. It's the ability to recognize potential in other people. That's scarce. And it might not be a lot, but just something that you see in other people. And you're able to cultivate that. See? You work on that. But see, it's attitude. Does roses have thorns? Or does thorns have roses? You see, let me give you one illustration. I used to go to a little high school back in Oklahoma, and every year the scouts would come out and they were watching one particular person. Were they looking for a superstar? No. Scouts know better. They know that that doesn't exist. They were looking for potential. Potential. They were looking at one person that had a good arm. And every year they would be back. They spend millions of dollars for scouts to learn to do this. See, they're not looking for thorns. Oh, that guy this, or the ball player, he doesn't look like he has this. They're looking for somebody that has potential. This one particular person that I know, they watched him all 4 years through high school. He was one of the greatest pitchers I've ever seen. But the Dodgers took him in and he couldn't run. That was his problem. He couldn't run. That held him back. But see, it took all them years for him to even know he could run. See, sometimes it takes time. So with your people that you develop, be patient with them. They have problems. You got people that will get discouraged. Maybe they slow down. You never say, "Hey, boy, if you'll just hang in there, it'll happen." No, you don't do that. Say, "Look, I understand." That's why I never try to sell this business. And so be patient with your people. Be kind. We're all having problems. Everybody has problems. We're all dealing with something. So to start this business, you can't just come into this business, for example, and quit your business. Don't do that. Wait till it grows. Wait till it starts developing. It's going to take time for that geometric growth. The first step to success is don't quit. Don't quit. But you have to keep working on yourself. I say this, work on yourself 90% of the time, work on other people 10% of the time. You know why? Other people will be working on you 100% of the time. You think it's going to work? And remember, they have good intentions. Don't feel bad about them. They just don't understand. I've went through that for years. Yeah, I'll show you. Well, I'll show you. Don't do that. You might not be able to. I used to say, my brother used to say, "Are you going to do it again?" I said, "I'll have to wait and see." Well, I'll find another one. He said, "You think it's going to make it this time?" I said, "I don't know. I've been wrong more than I've been right. And you've been right more than I've been wrong. But I'm excited." And leave it alone. Where's he going to go? I'll let him know that he's probably right. Folks, this is the greatest business in the world. It's the greatest company in the world. Start educating people, update people, be kind, and listen. Geometric growth will happen, but it takes effort. Thank you.
Good job.